what do we have in 3-3? Salesman. Commission is K%. Okay, he sold 10 cases for 20,000 each. How to find this amount? Okay, this is 3. What you know, K% is K over 100. You always have to convert to number first of all. And take this numeric representation of percent of K over 100 times what his amount was total, 20,000. And how many items he sold? Each 10 cars by 10. So after simplification, you'll get the answer. This would be the answer. 3, 4. Don't forget the easy question you did in similar to Mark Twain prep, right? Just convert two numbers. 3, 3. Next is go to, again, if I didn't explain something, you can ask me. 3, 6. I go through mostly fast questions. So far so good. In 3, 6, what we have? We have equation which is 2x to the second plus 12x and minus 32, and this equals to 0. And provide different multiple choice for this. Okay, and which match this one? You can do a few different ways. For instance, factorize 2x squared plus 6x minus 16 equals to 0, or 2 times factorize okay, x plus 8 x minus 2. And look at multiple choice what we have. Okay, multiple choice. If you have this x1 equals to negative 8 and x equals to 2. If you look at this is C. Because when you plug in C, one of this way. And what is C? X plus 3 to the second equals to what? 25. For instance, plug in negative 8. Negative 8 plus 3, negative 5. Negative 5 to the second power, 25. Plug in this one. 2 plus 3, 5 to second power, 25. Yeah, this answer. You can do another way. You can complete the square. But this is fine. Any way you have. So far, so good. E6. Would you like to have another way how to complete square? Secondly. Look on structure of this and structure of this equation that we have A, B, C, D. Okay. So after this, I complete this. Let me read this one to save space and time. You divide by 2 both part, you get x squared plus 6x minus 16. Now I look at multiple choice, what we have in multiple choice. Okay, it's the same like x squared plus 6x plus 9 and minus 9 and minus 16. Or it would be x plus 3 to the second, this trinomial, and minus 25 equals to 0. Plus 25 and plus 25, and you get x plus 3 to the second equals to 25. If you look at multiple choice, this is C. So wherever you have this second way. Well, next, when your student asks 3, I already explained this, 3, 6, yes. Next one is, for instance, Ellison 37. Okay. We have the given formula. In 37, we have P equals, what is it? 500 minus 25x. X number of years. And department P indoors. And they ask you over 10 years what the estimate decrease indoors each year. Well, since it's 10 years, divide by 10. After use butterfly rule, divide this, what you have. And this is 10. 10 years. You have 500 minus 250, divide by 10. 250 over 10. This will be the answer. What the estimated decrease? Yes, divide by 10. Next, if too fast, ask me. So far, so good. Next goes, what is it? 311. In 311, we have a parabola, kind of like this. Origin, let's say point A is 0.5. HK vertex. Let's say B, HK. And we have graph. And this graph represented by formula, by equation, y equals to A times x plus 1 times x minus 5. Okay, where A is a constant. Vectors. Okay, intersection of axis at point 0.5 is the following equals to k. Always when you have a formula like this, or equation, you cannot solve it because how many graphs you can have? Infinite set of graphs. You have to specify it first. And how to specify? You have to get specific A. Since the graph goes through this point with coordinate given, plug in this. So 5 equals A, x equals to 0. And you have this is 1, this is -5. Okay. And you have -5a. If you divide by -5 both parts, you have a equals to -1. Since a equals to -1, amount of this set of parabolas, you can find one parabola. Plug in over there. And you have y equals to -1, or just negative, x plus 1 times x minus 5. This is our parabola. And you see it goes downward. And when y equals to 0, when either x equals to -1, this is -1, or x equals to 5. You know, parabola is symmetrical. You can find midpoint. Okay, -1 and 5. xm equals midpoint x1 plus x2 divided by 2. Or -1, and this is 5, plus 5 divided by 2, which is 4 divided by 2, which is 2. So what is this xm? For another part, xm equals to h, because h is coordinate of this vertex. And this equals to h. Now, how to find k? What is k? Is y coordinate of point B. Take this equation and plug in x equals to 2. Negative instead of this. 2 goes over there. 2 plus 1, 2 minus 5, which is 3. And this is -3. And minus in front, you're supposed to have the asterisk value of this k, right? This is 3 times -3 times -1 is 9. Okay, so we have set of rules without thinking. When you have set of parabolas, you have to specify one of this, and after that, answer the question based on symmetry. Any questions, students? Who understand up to this point everything? Raise your hand. I ask you, raise your hand who understand everything. Actually, what about Theodore? Yes, put your hands down. Good, down, 2 seconds. It was 3:11. Again, if I do not explain something, you're still fighting this, right? You can ask me later. And I go, meanwhile, through mostly class questions. Next is 3:13. What we have in 3:13? Average. Now, 3 positive numbers, and B and C is 15. And you know that that's 3:13. A is less than B, less than C. Right, this, right? Given. And average of 3, so a plus b plus c divided by 3 equals to 15. What else? When the greatest of these numbers, is subtracted from the sum of other two. Okay, so the greatest is c. So when you have a plus b and you subtract it, c, what happens? Subtract from the sum of other two. The result is 5 equals to 5. This is what is given, and ask you to find what the value a plus b. A plus b is a question mark. Well, multiply both part by 3 and cancel out. We have a plus b plus c equals to 45. Equation number 1. And take this and line up the second equation. A plus b minus c equals to 5. If I add them up, I would have 2a plus b, 2a to b's, cancel out equals to 15. And divide both part by 2, 25. So possible, this was 313. Well, I'm gonna go through mostly class questions. Good. Next is, let me see what we have. Next questions. I'm looking for next questions. Good. Analyzing what we have. Next is 314. 314. In 314, we have a times x plus 1 plus b times x minus 1 divided by x minus 2 equals 2 plus 1 over x minus 2. And it works for all values of x. So x not equals to 2. And for rest x, it works for all values of x. What the value of, what is it, a? Find a. Well, look at this. One, this approach, since it works for any, and we have two variables, a and b, we don't need this, we need only a. So I will choose x equals to 1, because it can be for any x. If I use x equals to 1, x equals to 1, this value would be 0, and we kill b. If x, plug in here, x equals to 1, a times 1 plus 1 plus 0. I will not write it down. Divide by 1 minus 2 equals 2 plus 1 divided by 1 minus 2. And this is 2. This is negative 1. This is negative 1. And what we have here, 2a divided by negative 1 is negative 2a equals 2 minus 1 equals to 1. And divide by negative 2 both parts. What they ask you, right? And you still get the answer. Simple logic for many tests. Choose convenient value. One of these, probably the bestest way, the fastest way. So far, so good. Any questions so far? Next is, again, I go through mostly fast questions. Looking for most questions you have here. So 318. And 318, what we have? You have a function f of x equals to x squared over 2 minus 20x plus 8. K is a constant. It's not 8, it's k plus k, which is k is a constant. What value of x does f of x has the same value of f of 10? So f of x equals to f of 10. You can solve it a few different ways. F of x equals to f of 10. For instance, find f of 10. F of 10 equals 10 to the second over 2 minus 20 times 10 and plus k. What is it? This is 100 divided by 250 minus 200 plus k, which is negative 150 plus k. One of this way. And this equals to f of x. So this one, x squared over 2 minus 20x plus k equals negative 150 plus k. So solve this. Minus k and minus k plus 150 plus 150. And you have quadratic equation, cancel, cancel. You have x squared over 2. Okay. Plus, we have minus 20x plus 150 equals to 0. So multiply both part by 2. Get rid of this denominator. You have x squared minus 40x plus 300 equals to 0. Now choose, you can factorize negative 30 and negative 10. X minus 30 times x minus 10 equals to 0, x equal to 30, and x equals to 10. You found these two ways, right? Okay, for which value? When x equals to 30, x equals to 10. Look at multiple choice. What we have in multiple choice here? Okay, either 30 or 10. You don't have multiple choice. Okay. I can show another way how to solve it, but this is pretty straightforward. You might substitute and find and solve simple quadratic equation. So far, so good? No questions? Good. Let me go to the next one. It was the 18. Let's go. What is it? 319. In 319, let's make drawings. And this ABC. And this right triangle. Not only right triangle, it's also isosceles right triangle. It's not to scale. Isosceles. Isosceles. And each side, this side and this side, they have value 10 square root of 2. DE midpoint. This equal to this. This is D. And this is E. And they equal to each other because this is isosceles right triangle. What area of shaded region? Shaded region. Well, typical question from many SATs. Make extra line, altitude, and connect this point with this point. And you can connect this point with this point. Okay. Since it's system symmetrical, this segment equal to this segment, I can put some letters here. Okay. And I can easily prove that each of these triangles congruent. Look at this, for instance, this one. DE, what is it? F. So this triangle, okay, DADK equals to triangle DKF. Common side, system symmetrical. So this part equals to this part. I can use this differently. And as a result, this side equal to this side based on Pythagorean. You can prove that all these triangles are congruent. How many triangles do we have? We have 8 triangles. So we split it by 8 triangles, and triangle area of triangle ABC equals AB times BC divided by 2, or 10 times square root of 2 times 10 square root of 2 divided by 2. Square root of 2, square root of 2 and 2 cancel out equals to 100. This area of large triangle. An area shaded, I believe shaded like this, right? What is this one? Yes, shaded at this part, and this part. Area shaded to area total equals 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 8 triangles, which is 1 over 2, or area shaded cross multiplication. Okay, times 2 equals area total, or divide by 2 both parts, cancel out. But since area total equals to 100, divide 100 by 2, which is 50. Okay. You can go through each of these, but it's longer. This is faster. Many questions based on this symmetry. Any questions so far? Who understand up to this point everything? So if you don't write all these steps, you can do it mentally. Actually, what I did, it's straightforward. This is half of this. Find area of this and divide by 2. 319. Okay. So I went through most request question section number 3, except for 320. 320 also. In 320, make a picture. So soon, even though you have this picture in your notebooks, in your handouts, try to make picture in your notebook, because you have to develop skill of drawing picture. Many questions SAT, they don't have pictures. And this is A, negative 3, 4. B, negative 3, 10. This is C, let's say D. And this is, what is it, T? A0. A0. Origin. ABCD is equals to area, an area given. Area of ABCD equals to what? Equals to area of triangle CDP. CDP, this is P, not T. Area of triangle CDP. And they ask you to find what the value of A. Okay, look at this. This is symmetrical, right? The area of triangle is symmetrical. So based on this, if this is negative 310, this you can write this positive 310, this 4 positive, and this would be D. I make more room which is 3, 4. So how to find this side? This side, step number 1, is 10 minus 4, which is 6. And this side equals to, okay, this side is 3 minus negative 3, which is 6. Okay, this is 10, this is 4, and this is 6. And so this is 6. Since it's obtuse triangle, to find area, expand this side. And this altitude, since this is A, since this is A, this altitude would be A minus 3, because this is 3. A minus 3. So everything is set. Now you can write area of triangle, base times height divided by 2 equals. Base is 6, height is A minus 3 divided by 2 equals to the area of rectangle, they said, equals to 36. 6 times 6. Cancel out, this is 3. And you have 3 times A minus 3 equals to 36. You divide by 3 both parts. Cancel, cancel. 12. A minus 3 equals to 12. Plus 3 plus 3. A equals to 15. Okay. So far, so good. Any questions about this? No questions? Raise your hand who understand everything up to this point. Then Caesar, use some application again. Don't use application. No temptation. You concentrate. Raise your hand who understand this everything up to this point. Caesar, Edison, David. Well, even people who created this nice test, they solve it wrong. They have wrong solution, but this is not difficult. Just equality of two areas. In this test, they solve it wrong. How I check one of these methods to check if you solve by yourself. If somebody give me the same answer like in this test, which is wrong, it means probably you did not by yourself, okay? And every test has mistakes. Almost every test. Not every, but almost every. Sometimes many mistakes. So I explained everything for section number 3. More 3+ question. Now we're going to go through section number 4. Again, at the end, if you have still questions, you can ask. Let me go through more 3+ questions for this section. For instance, 4.4, typical question. Section 4. In section 4, what we have is 4.4. We have f of x minus 5 equals to x squared minus 5. With the following equals to f of -2. Very typical question. F of -2 is a question mark. Okay, look at this. You can do it a few different ways. For instance, if this x minus 5 function of x minus 5, you can do like this. Let x minus 5 equals to -2. And u plus 5 and x equals to 3. So f of -2 is the same like f of 3 minus 5. Now look at this. X equals to 3. Yes? Equals 3 to the second minus 5, which is 9 minus 5, which is 4. Use the substitution, either general or specific with these numbers. It's 4, 4. It was 4, 4. Any questions? No questions. Okay. 4, 5. In 4, 5, also typical, equals to 10, and 1 over a plus 1 over b equals to 20. Find what? Find AB. AB. Let me write this stuff. Not to confuse. Like fraction addition. B, LCD AB. And this is A. And we have numerator A plus B over AB equals to 20. But A plus B equals to 10. Grab this 10. And I have 10 over AB equals to 20. Or 20 over 1, but it's the same. Cross 20 AB equals to 10. Divide by 20 both parts. Cancel out equals to 1 over 2. Okay, this was 4, 4. So far so good. Next is many students ask for 6. Can you read everything? Okay, 4, 6. Four, 6. Make a question. You have a rectangle. Not to scale. Probably it's not the best picture because this is supposed to be rectangle as well. Make some corrections. Okay, like this. Beta is closer to 90 degrees as well. Kind of like this. And there's a B CD is F given E. Area of rectangle ABCD, given area ABCD rectangle equals to 25. Find, oh, this parallelogram, it's not right 90 degrees, parallelogram. Find area of AFDE. AFDE. Okay. Look at these students. If I take different color, like we did today. We name it pattern of extra line. Extra line. Make extra line like we did today with another problem. You can easily prove this triangle equals to this triangle. Why? Because this rectangle and diagonal of rectangle, let's say, what is it, K, A, B, F, K, diagonal split by two congruent triangles. And similar, these two triangles also the same. They congruent. So these diagonals split by two congruent triangles. And picture not the best if I continue. If I continue this one. Okay, so pretend I continue this. But from another side, it's okay. From another side, HFDE is a parallelogram. Okay. And the diagonal of this is split by two parallelograms, two congruent triangles. So I can say the triangle, if this equals, if 1 equals to 2, and 3 equals to 4 areas, and 2 plus 3 area 2 plus area 3 equals to area AED. EAD. You can easily see that area of this rectangle is equals to area of this parallelogram. So far so good. Why? Because 2 and 3 area 2 plus, I just make more explanation. Area 3 equals to 1 over 2 of area rectangle. And area of parallelogram equals to area of rectangles AFD. Triangles AFD. It means if this 25, this 25. Simple logical here. You can use variables for this, but probably this is the fastest way. We use extra line. They're the same. So far, so good. Any questions? If you don't have any questions, let's go to next one. Okay. Let's go to next one. Easy. Just extra lines. It was 4, 6. Next, we have many questions is, again, I go through most required first. 411. In 411, Pretend we have a circle, and we make these two asymmetricals. And this is 0, 6. This is negative KB, negative K0. This is 9, 0. What is it? C? 9, 0. And D is 0, negative 6. What the value of K? Well, I just remind you generally the Chord Theorem. Here. You have a circle, and you have two intersected chords. And this is A, and this is B, and this C, this is D. According to Chord Theorem, A times B equals to C times D. Product. For instance, this is 6 based on this value. This value is K. I'm talking about length. Length is scalar. And this is 9. And this is 6. So K times 9 equals 6 times 6. 36. Divide by 9 those parts. Equals to 4. Okay.
Dr. Farber,
Yes.
is it possible to solve this problem without knowing the chord theorem?
Easy. Let's do now. Secondly, any problem can be solved few different ways. Pretend you're under pressure, you forget about chord theorem. Secondly, let me make extra lines here. Let's say connect this and this. Not nice, not nice connection. Better. And connect this and this. Since this is 6 and this is 6, this chord is go through the center of this circle, right? So this is what is it? BC is diameter. BC is diameter. Why? Because this and this equal to each other, it goes through the center. Step number 2. Angle BAC. We name it inscribed angle, right? Inscribed. Inscribed angle, angle vertex of which belongs to the circumference. And since intercepted arc based on diameter, it's equals half of diameter, because inscribed angle equals half of intercepted arc, equals half of 180. I just proved this angle is 90 degrees. Now forget about this circle. We did it tons of time. If you have triangle, pretend this is triangle. Not triangle, just right triangle. I just proved this right triangle. And we have altitude to opposite side. Okay. And this is A, B, and C. And you have a theorem. If you make perpendicular from vertex of right angle to hypotenuse, this C to the second equals A times B. This second way. So you can write this 6 to the second equals k times 9. The theorem about perpendicular for vertex of right angle. Oh, pretend you forget about this also, right? How to do this. The third way. I need a little room, but the third way. You have A, B, C, D, we already used it, E. Okay, students, look at this. You know that angle, if you have two angles with mutually perpendicular sides, this perpendicular to this and this, let's make nice picture. We then have one angle, and perpendicular to this side go this one, and perpendicular to this side go this one. And I can prove that, I can state that angles with mutual perpendicular sides are congruent if both of them either are acute or both of them obtuse. I can easily prove that angles in these triangles, look at this side perpendicular to this side so far, and this side is perpendicular to this side. I can prove that this angle and these angles are the same. If they are the same, and this is 90 degrees triangle, this is 90 degrees, this 90 degrees. So an other angle, like this one, are what? Complementary, also the same. I just proved that this triangle and this triangle similar. If they similar, you can make a ratio of if triangle similar, the size and proportion. Okay. So far so good. For instance, this k to 6 equals to what? Equals 6 to 9. And this is the third way. So cross multiplication get any. So I can find few more of this, but similarity of triangle, I believe you 100% remember, right? So far so good. Did I answer your question, Anastasia?
Yes, thank you.
Which one do you prefer more for this one? 1, 2, 3. Anastasia.
I think that if you know the theorems, then like the first one or the second one are the easiest ones.
Yes, it's faster. All of them easy, just faster. It's one line becomes one line. Keep in mind, this question they ask you many times. And what you're supposed to do, it's so easy. Look at this. A times B equals C to D. Not necessarily a right angle at all. Any angle. Just two chords and product of their segments equals to each other. It's it. Okay, good, good, good. It was what? 411. 411. Again, I go through mostly class questions first. After that, you can go to any of them back. Okay, let me see. Was 411. 412. In 412. What we have F of x minus 3 equals to x squared plus x plus 1. With the following is f of x. You have to find f of x. Well, we did one of this. What's the difference here? You see, we have a argument of two terms here, like we did before. For example, before, let x minus 3 equals, let's say, t, any variable, plus 3 plus 3. You have x cancel out equals t plus 3. Okay. Now, I want to combine to get function of one variable, of one term, actually. F of, since x minus 3 is t, for substitution, equals x to the second. What is x to the second? Is t plus 3 to the second plus t plus 3 and plus 1, which is, okay, or you can do this one, or t to the second plus 6t plus 9 plus t plus 3 plus 1. I use a bridge formula for this one. After that, I combine like terms. I will get t to the second plus 7t plus 13. And this f of t. Now, what they ask you about? Oh, they even don't ask about this. We do extra job. We don't need this. Because usually in this, you have easy to get f of x. Just plug in instead of this. X squared plus 7x plus 13. But this is even easier. You're not supposed to do this. I did extra. You don't need this is correct, but I don't need this. Why? Because they provide in multiple choice this expanded form. So you can keep it, but in expanded form, this okay, this is fine. In majority of questions they ask you this one. But in this specifically f of x. So why I'm doing this? Because the function of one term work for any variable. I can emit even hieroglyph here, right? If you plug in instead of tx, what I'll get? I'll get x plus 3 to the second plus x plus 3 and plus 1. And this answer, they did not specify. This very seldom they do. Usually they combine like terms. Okay, what is the key thing of this? This one. If you have function of few terms, you need one term, make substitution. So far, so good? Good, good, good. It was for 12. Let's go through another one. Next is 416. Few students asking, including Daniela. Daniela, read this question, please, 416. 416.
Which one?
416.
Okay, 1 second.
You don't have in front of you?
Or 16.
Yes.
Ashley and Bernard work at an electronic appliance store. Ashley paid $200 per week plus 5% of her total sales. Bernard is paid $325 per week plus 2.5% of the total sales. If their weekly pay is the same, what is the dollar amount of their sales?
Okay, thank you. This is 416. And what we know about Ashley? They pay 200. Those plus they said 5% of sale plus 0.05x. X is sale. And what about the second person is Bernard. Bernard. He paid 325 plus 2.5%, which is 0.025 of sale. And they said they equals to each other, you see? Monthly pay is the same. So solve this equation. How to solve? Minus 200 and minus 200 minus 0.025x and minus 0.025x. Cancel out, you have 0.025x. Cancel out equals to 125 multiplied by 1000. Get rid of this decimals. You get 25x equals to 125,000 divided by 25 was parts. Okay, and the 25 goes in 125 5 times. You get 5,000. Okay, this was not difficult question as well, right? For 16. Now let me go through another one for 19. For 19. Can I read this one? Good. In 419, let's make a picture. And this is A, D, C, B. This is 25. This is 10. AD equals BC equals 25. And sine given sine of angle BCD equals to 0.6. Find, this is given, area of what? Triangle BCD, this BCD. Is that correctly? Area of BCD. Well, and sine of the BCD equals 0.6. From triangle, step number 1, triangle ABC, you can find AB equals 25 hypotenuse times sine of angle BCD, or 25 times 0.6, it will be 15. So this is 15. What is 15? 15 is 3 times 5. What's 25? It's 5 times 5. Since that this side is supposed to be 4 times 5. It's going triples, right? Or if this side 4 times 5, which is 20. So far so good. I can easily find DC. DC equals 20 minus 10, which is 10. And the very next step, area of triangle BCD equals base times height divided by 2. Which one? This is 10. These are two triangles, so altitude equals to 15. Divided by 2. 2 goes into 10 5 times, it would be 75. It's 2 units. This was for 19. So far, so good. Okay, I'll look into another one where I have many students. Okay. Next goes for 22. And for 22, I refer to this picture because it's what I will do, it's not to scale. 422. This kind of camel like this goes like this. And we have characteristics and coordinates. This is 0. And this point, look at this. Look on your graph. It's -3. This is 1. And this is 3. We give this graph. And this f of x. Way the following function could represent the graph shown the graph. Well, look at this. Since you know roots of this function, I give this C the answer, and you can do with any of this. F of x, like this, equals 1 over 3 x plus 3 times x squared minus 4x plus 3 or x minus 3 times x, I factorize it. -3 times -1, 3, and this is -4. Yes. I just factorize this, right? Look at this. What root? The root's supposed to be the same if graph represent this equation of this line represented by this graph. So x1 equals to -3, x2 equals to 3, and x3 equals to 1. So this is the answer. If I take any of these from multiple choice, in order to answer affirmatively of this question, all of them supposed to have the same solution. So far, so good. Any questions? Caesar, use some application. You know this, right? So thank you. To understand up to this point, everything. Okay, everything. What about Daniel B? Okay, Edison. Good. Good, good. So this is 422. I will cross it out. Let me see if I don't miss anything. No, I did not. Next is let me see what we have next. 424. In 424, we have a circle. And imagine this is center of this. And we have tangents for this. Okay. Pretend like this. And make this 2 extra lines. The point of tangency. Connect the center of this point of tangency. In addition, we have to connect these 2 points. Good. So build a picture first. Well, what is given? This is point R, origin, point P. And what else? The area of circle. Area of circle equals to 100 pi. What the equation of line L? Find L. Well, step number 1. Area equals pi square equals to 100 pi. Divide by pi. So R equals to square root of 100, which is 10. So this is 10 and this is 10. And you can write coordinate of this point P equals to x equals to 0 and 10. And coordinate of point R will be x equals to 10 and y is 0. You can use formula for slope y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, but you don't need this. This symmetrical picture and this isosceles right triangle or PR. Rise over run. You can see this side and this side the same, so slope is -1, right? It goes down. Slope is equal slope of line L equals to -1. Or use formula, you have 2 coordinates. And y equals to mx plus b equals m equals to -1. It would be -x. And y-intercept is 10. Okay. So far, so good, students. It was 424. Okay. Well, let me go through a few more. $4.25. So I'll make a picture like this. Not this way, a little bit like this, schematically. And we have okay, and we have y-axis, and y equals to f of x, and y equals to k, and the given interval. How many values of k does the system have? Exactly 4 solutions. 4 solutions. You know, y equals to k is a line which parallel to x-axis. If I take value of k, this one, I have only 2 solutions. Not good. I need 4. If I take this one, I will have 1, 2, 3 solutions. Not good. If I make a tangent to this one, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. For this solution, when k equal to this value, we have 4 solutions. Excellent. Look on this graph. Where else I can have 4 solutions? By analogy, if I make line tangent to this one, I have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is y equals to k1 and y equals to k2. So 2 lines satisfy this situation. Easy, just make horizontal line. So far so good. Questions? Okay, who understand everything up to this point? Okay. Somebody joined this group later. I left for you this count your score you can send. You don't have only tips result, but who join later. Well, who soon join later. Игорь, мы можем эту лекцию на Facebook поместить?
Да.
Okay, Saba, we will play this lecture since you came to the end of this. It's already 2 hours past, more than 2 hours. We will place on YouTube and Facebook, and you can go. It's must, okay? It's not optional. And the rest of you also, you can go through this few times. So after today's class, we place it on our YouTube and Facebook. I give you a link, and try to go through all the steps. Just practice. So far, so good, Saba? Yes, good. Next is what it was. It was 425. Next, I go to. We have more students. 427. In 427, I try to make 2 concentric circles. What is it? 2 circles. Will be bigger. One circle. another with the same radius. Kind of like this. And take this and make what we have here. They connected these vertices. Okay. So this and this centers. I connect this and this. This and this. This and this. And this and this. And make one extra line here. Line which connects to centers. And what is given? This is C, and this O. This is P. Centers. If the lengths of radii of circle are 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Okay. For the area of shaded region, and this is shaded region. Well, you can easily see if we go from point O to P, if this radius 10, this also 10. So we have two equilateral triangles. And area shaded equals to area of equilateral triangle. Which is 2 times, you know, formula for equilateral triangle, s squared square root of 3 over 4. S is a side, but side equals to 10. Just plug in 10. And I have 2 times 10 to the second square root of 3 over 4. This very convenient formula for SAT prep. Many steps, it's actually one line problem. And this number is worth 427. So far, so good. Questions? Okay, if you don't have questions, I close it out. Okay. Not many questions left with mostly class. Again, if I didn't explain something and you still need help, you can ask me, but I'm gonna go through mostly asked questions for 37. Anastasia, read this question, please. It was your question as well. 437.
Mr. Trump drove to work in the morning at the average speed of 60 miles per hour. He returned home in the evening along the same route and averaged 45 miles per hour. To the nearest tenth, what is his average speed in miles per hour for the entire trip?
Thank you. Very nice reading. So motion problem, step without thinking. Picture. Schematic picture. This A and destination is B. And incorporate with that. This is his home. And this his work. With data. This way he moved with 60 mph. Make this vector 60 mph. And back he has, what is it, 45 mph. Okay, nearest stance, what the average speed? R average. Question mark. You know, rule of thumb, how to find R average in any test. R average equals total distance divided by total time by T total. Did they give it distance? No, they didn't give you. So make it X. And step number 1, D total equals to X's. Step number 2, time total equals X divided by 60 this way, plus X divided by 45 this way. So far so good, if you add them up. And this is 180, right? 4 and 3. Then we have 7x over 80. What is 7x 180? What is 7x over 180? This total time. Now plug into this formula. R average equals 2x's divided by 7x over 180. Or keep change flip, Kentucky chicken fry, KCF. 2x, keep like it is. Change division to multiplication and flip upside down. Cancel out. And you have 360 divided by 7. Since you have scientific calculator section, just divide it, you get the answer. If you remember, many of these questions similar we did for Mark Twain prep anesthesia. Remember, average rate, only compared to this one, they give you distance. If this is not given, choose variable. So far, so good. It was 437. Now 438, many students ask. So we have a triangle. ABC. And this is FED. AD is program and BE. Remember, they had mistake here. Instead of BF in text, make correction because everybody did it. And instead of BF, it's supposed to be BE. You did in the beginning of class. To EC equals to 1 to 2 given. Okay. So it means if this is X, this is 2x's. It is X to 2x. Always use scaling factor for ratio. What they ask you to find? If the area of parallelogram equals to what? Equals to 10. Find area of triangle ABC. Well, if you look at this picture, you know, opposite sides are of parallelogram are parallel. So this side is parallel to this side, and this side is parallel to this side. You have theorem. If you cut angle by parallel lines, you cut it by similar triangles. You can do without this. You can prove it by AAA property. If two lines are parallel, corresponding angles are the same, and corresponding the same, okay, one vertex, and you can easily prove that all three triangles, triangle with small FBE, similar to triangle EDC, and similar to triangle ABC. Easy, okay? One angle with this and this. One is in common to this triangle and to this triangle. This angle equal to this one, and the third angle equal to this one. The same way you can prove any of this. Now you have a property. If this x to x, this is 3x. If shapes are similar, then the ratio of the areas equals to square of linear ratios. Remember this, right? Okay, let me write this, remind me. If two shapes are similar, then the ratio of their areas equals to the square of linear ratio of the linear ratio. So easy. Now you can write that area of triangle FBE to area of triangle EDC the other way around. Symbol supposed to be under, to area of triangle EDC to area of triangle ABC Look at this. FBE has side x, x to the second. EDC has side 2x's. 2x to the second power is 4x to the second. And BC equals to 3x is 9x to the second. Let's specify what we have. This big one is, I don't know where to put this. So this kind of x to the second proportionally. This is 2x to the second, 4x to the second. And this entire is 9x to the second. Okay. Now, how to get area of parallelogram from this? Area of parallelogram equals area large minus area medium plus area small. I make it simple. So since this is 9 squared, I subtract x squared plus 4x squared, which is 5x squared. 9x squared minus 5x squared is 4x squared. And now I know that 4x squared area of program is given. So 4x squared equals to 10. Divide by 4, cancel out, and would be 5/2, right? Which format they should be provided, right? This equal, look at this. If area of program is 10, okay. What triangle they ask you to find? ABC, big one. 5/2, which is 2.5. Now the very last step. Since they ask you this big one, area large, or you can make proportion even faster. 9x squared, and since x squared equals 2.5, plug in over this, it will be 9 times 2.5. It will be 18 plus 45, 22.5. Okay, you can do another way faster. So this is actually fast. We're doing one line here. This key line here, I just explained a lot. You can write this 4x squared another way. 4x squared is 10, and 9x squared, I don't know. From this cross, it's even a little bit faster instead of this one. But whatever. Okay, you understand everything up to this point. This extremely great property for many problems. Instead of using this height, length, with wasting bunch of time, you do it in seconds. If I don't write this, if I use this property, you can do it semi-mentally. Okay, good. What I did, students, I explained practically all most free class questions. But if you still have any questions from this one, all right? If you still have any question, ask me. And before to ask me any question, I will give you most free class question number 4 from direct variation. Number 4. Can I read this one? Okay. Number 4 from direct variation. Number 4. In this tip, you have two triangles, small and bigger. And this 512 is ABC. This right angle. And this is FDE. And this 18. They similar. These two triangles. What's the length of DF? DF. This X. Well, step number 1. Remember we studied Pythagorean triples, or you can use Pythagorean theorem. If this 512, this is 13, or use Pythagorean theorem. Now, since these similar sides are in proportion, 13 to 18, like corresponding sign 5 to x, cross multiplication. 13x is equals to 5 times 18, and divide by 13 plus parts. If you count, you can easily get this value. So far, so good. Any questions? Now, I explained all from today's lecture, all most request questions, but if you're still fighting for any of this, let me know, I explain. I know you're a little bit tired because instead of 2 hours, we did it much more, right? This one. But anyway, what gonna do? If you don't have questions, I will upload this lecture, manage to upload this lecture on YouTube, Facebook, send you link. And my request, since nobody got 55 even today, okay? Let me see, no. So go a few times from this lecture, try to develop style. And you will see you solve it. My point, everybody can get perfect or close to perfect score. This score we have here, it's not related to your ability at all. You're much smarter than your score. This is my point. Plus, during solving next test, I give you next tips. You you have to go through the same steps. No guessing, no circling like this. You see all questions you can solve in less than 1 minute. Okay. Well, no questions? Good, students. In this case, have a nice weekend. Practice, enjoy math, be strong, be well. Bye, everybody. Bye, students. I can hear you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Nice week.
Bye, have a good day.
You too as well. Good luck. Saba, watch this lecture on the internet. Okay, okay. Malevich, Black Square.